Angie Montroy. Welcome to Angie's Pantry. And today we're going to make homemade whole grain biscuits with yogurt. I'm using the yogurt as some of the liquid to make it sort of tangy, almost like a buttermilk. First we begin with flour. We've got 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Next I'm going to add 1/4 cup of wheat germ, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Now we need to add the fat. And the fat is what makes the biscuit light, flaky, and fluffy. It's quite wonderful. What happens is you incorporate the butter or the fat. If you want to use shortening, you can, but I don't recommend it. I think butter is so much better and it's better for you. But you incorporate that into the flour, and what happens is when it bakes, the butter melts and it creates steam and it causes flakes to form inside the flour. It's very nice. So I've got a 1/2 cup of butter, and it's cold butter. And what we're going to do is we are going to incorporate this into the flour. I'm going to do it with my hands. I don't think the settlers, when they came to America, said, where's that pastry blender, or where's my Cuisinart food processor to incorporate the butter into my flour to make my biscuits over the fire? I'm thinking they didn't do that. So I've got the butter with all of the dry ingredients, and I'm going to use my hands. All of the butter is incorporated into the flour mixture. There are no big lumps. I felt none in there, so it's ready to go. We're ready for the liquid. For the liquid, I am using milk and 1/2 cup of milk and 1/2 cup of plain low-fat or non-fat yogurt. This will give sort of the buttermilk feel to the recipe. I don't oftentimes have buttermilk in my house. You could, if you don't have yogurt, you can certainly make your own buttermilk or make a substitution with 1 cup of milk and maybe like a 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar, and let that sit for a few minutes, and that will give it the tang and get it to ferment a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make a well in the center of my bowl, and you do that so that your liquid ingredients make it to the bottom. I'm just going to dump the whole thing in, and using a fork, I'm just going to blend it all together. Okay, from here, I'm just going to dump it on my board, or actually just the countertop. Then you want to bring it together and make a dough. You don't want to handle this too much like I mentioned earlier. You just want to give it a couple of kneads. It'll be a little bit sticky, but you want it that way. You don't want it to be dry. Get these other little bits in the dough. Pick it all up. I don't like to waste anything. Okay, I need a little flour, just a little bit. So just a little sprinkle of flour on my countertop here. And if you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a glass. That's what I used right out of college when I would bake. I did not have a rolling pin at the time. So we're just going to roll it from the center. It's very soft. It's very pliable. I want to roll it out to about a 1/2 inch thick. And then we are just going to, I like to use this size. It's about a 3-inch cookie cutter or biscuit cutter. See? You can see how nice those look. Just space them out on the cookie sheet, just maybe a 1/2 inch apart. It's okay if they come together a little. This will make about a dozen. Maybe a little less if you use a larger, if you like really large biscuits. Obviously it'll make fewer biscuits. I think this is a nice size. Then we don't have to worry about the rest. So this actually, because I rolled it a little thinner, we got about 15 biscuits. For the tops of the biscuits, I like to do a little egg wash, and all that is a beaten egg and a couple of tablespoons of milk. This is a pretty small little dish, but I'm just going to take my pastry brush, and I'm just going to brush over every biscuit. These go into a 375-degree oven for 12 to 14 minutes. And we'll get the butter and the honey ready for when they come out. Time to retrieve the homemade biscuits from the oven. You know, my grandmother used to make these all the time. And you know what? They're so simple that, oh my gosh, these are beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm going to take one because I'm going to eat one. And I'm just going to put a big, what I like to do is put a big glob of butter on it. And then I'm going to take a lovely drizzle of honey. Because you can't have a biscuit without honey. Tender, delicious, very moist. I love to serve these with my oven fried chicken. Check out that video as well. Thank you for visiting Angie's Pantry, and happy baking and cooking. Have a good day.